I ask you about the 8th graders in particular?
Yeah.
I see on their BRI, on the comprehension, there was only 20% of them were proficient. Is that what I'm reading there?
Mm-hmm.
Do you have any idea where these kids were last year as 7th graders at this time?
I'd have to not right off the top of my head.
Is this one of those classes we've talked about previously that it scored low? I mean, we got 3 of those classes that are below 50% proficient in comprehension. It appears fluency they're doing pretty well, but except for the 5th graders. But comprehension they struggled on. Is there any particular reason?
In fact, at the Wall Lake board meeting, I noted the 5th grade rather than the 8th grade because we had some questions come about of because if you take a look at the numbers there, just fluency as compared to comprehension, they're quite off balance compared to the other grades.
That means they may not be...
We had some questions about the administration of the test, in all honesty, to the 5th grade.
Well, I was just wondering how these numbers compare to last year. Are they lower or are they higher? I don't remember last year seeing these lower numbers.
And that's one thing I can go back and do is take a look at that. Obviously, we've talked about in the past is that summer drop also because a lot of kids go home for the summer and there's not a lot of reading.
But last year we also did a BRI in the fall. Okay.
Just comparisons by years.
Yep.
Because I see on the high school one too, also the 10th grade was 45% and 11th grade was 39%.
Right.
One of the things, and Denny and Kevin can bring back data from last year from the fall. These would have been administered toward the beginning of the year, but they were actually passages that are end of the year 8th grade, for instance. So we'd expect growth through the year. Now, the lower you start, the more work you have to do to get where you want to be at the end of the year. But those kids in 8th grade, for instance, walked out reading 7th grade passages. This is an end of 8th grade passage for both fluency and for comprehension measure. And again, not an excuse, just what we're looking at for what that passage looks like. So we see growth through the school year. But we can bring, all 3 of the principals actually could bring you data from what the fall scores looked like last year to compare to what fall scores this year look like.
And all in all, when I presented this to the teaching staffs, well, specifically the reading teachers 6th through 8th grade, they were very surprised
that they were that low.
So I think they expect some pretty major gains, especially in the comprehension piece. So.
It'll be interesting when you report again to compare these with the next numbers too. So for us.
Year-round school.
I see in junior high and high school, comprehension is generally lower than fluency. But then in grade school, it was just the opposite way. Is there a reason for that, or is that just...
It could be the way that the questions are...
I was wondering if you had yours turned around. That's the first thing I wrote on there. Are these numbers turned around?
No. We've done very well in our comprehension at the elementary school. It could be just the way the tests are administered. What I did this year is I brought our intervention teacher from the SAC building and the title teacher and the intervention or at-risk teacher from the Wall Lake building, and they give the tests to all of the students. We start at the Sac City Center, and the 2 interventionists from the Wall Lake building come up here and they converge on this building and they test. Now each teacher is given a certain group of kids and they'll test them, the same group, fall, winter, spring, and they talk about the process that they wanted to use and what they would accept for answers and different things like that. And after they're done here, then that group will go to the Wall Lake Center and they will test the same people or same students that they tested in the fall. They just keep them as they go through.
So one teacher may score entirely different than another teacher. I mean, there's some...
That's why you want your interventionists to or the people giving the test to communicate before they take the test. Now, when you get to a different building, I mean, the three people that do the BRIs here don't, they don't talk to the interventionist or whoever Denny has doing it at the middle school. So you may see some differences there of what is accepted and what is for an answer and what is not accepted for an answer.
Do you use the same people from year to year, or are they entirely
I
different?
just started this year, and I would plan to use the same people.
Mine was different than last year.
Different.
Just from availability. The person that we used last year is employed now, so.
Mine was the same that we did in the spring, and she'll be the same for the fall and the spring then. So we're going to use, well, actually it was Teresa Tigas who you met tonight. That's who's going to be doing it throughout then, because we were concerned about that too. We had different people doing it each time, and each one brings in something a little different, what they're looking for, and they start to check for mistakes on fluency or check the comprehension, and so we need to be more consistent. So Teresa Tigas is the one that will be doing that throughout the test, the testing process now, to create more validity on that test. Yeah.
One person does all the kids?
Yep. Yep. Yeah, it's 320 times she hears the same, she'll hear the
Graders
test.
don't take it.
Oh, that's right, that's true. It'd be 9th through 11th grade kids that take it, yeah. So,